Well, Internet, this is Brock Pierce, not any Brock Pierce. This is capital T, the Brock Pierce, who I met at CES and told me I was absolutely insane for not being in Puerto Rico, and I couldn't drop it. I would look at flights from time to time. I'd think I would go hang out with the unicorn maker. We'd go hang out with the man. They got me so pumped and excited, and here we are. Yeah. Snuggled in Puerto Rico.
Thank you for hearing the call.
I have heard the call. I have arrived, and I've brought friends with me that are moving, and then I'll be more and more involved. So it was really amazing to spend time with you today, and thanks for inviting all
Thank you
of us
so much.
to do that. Yeah.
So, I'm glad I find one of my main jobs is being a tour guide.
You are
the best.
You are a world-class tour guide, my friend. A world-class tour guide. So tell folks that maybe don't know who you are and what you do, a little background on who you are, what you do, and why you're here in Puerto Rico, and what you're doing to make a difference here.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I've gone from kind of media on the video and acting side to eventually the gaming side, which took me down the rabbit hole of digital currency, which took me into Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain, and my main focus these days is social impact. You know, how do we measure our success? You know, what is the score? If this were a game, how are we measuring our success? What are the points that you're trying to accumulate or the points you're trying to put on the board? And from my perspective, it's not about money. Money is not a very interesting goal. My goal is in positively impacting the lives of others. And so Puerto Rico seemed like an interesting place for that experiment. I moved down here immediately following Hurricane Maria, and with no specific plan in place other than seeing if we could make a positive impact. The main problem that I've identified down here isn't the hurricane. Obviously, Puerto Rico is recovering and has largely recovered from that. But it's ultimately this thing I call a brain drain. And that is that Puerto Rico had 3.5 million people here prior to the hurricane. Following the hurricane, it went down to 3 million. Who do you think those 500,000 people were that left?
That's right.
It's the people with the means to leave. It's the people with the intellectual capital. It's that human capital. It's the financial capital. And this isn't something that just happened as a result of Hurricane Maria. This is something that's been happening consistently for a long time due to a lack of opportunity. Now, I only have so many skills, but one of the things that I've done a lot of in my life is startups. I've been a venture capitalist many times over, founder many times over, and Puerto Ricans have incredible talent. There's more bachelor degrees here per capita than anywhere in the United States.
Really?
Wow.
There are more artists here per capita than anywhere in the United States.
Amazing.
It's not due to a lack of talent. It's due to a lack of opportunity. What Puerto Rico needed was angels. You know, it needed angel investors.
Absolutely.
You know, that can, you know, give young people with great ideas, you know, an opportunity for those dreams to become a reality. It needed mentors. It needs people that have actually done it before that can like guide you along the way. You don't want to have to make every mistake yourself. You don't want to have to learn everything entirely on your own. And that's something that, you know, those of us as the expats moving here, that we bring. Many of us are angels. Many of us are capable of being mentors. And we're starting to see the very beginning of a real startup ecosystem emerging. You know, I was there through the creation of Silicon Beach.
Santa Monica?
Yeah, I've been in the startup world all over the planet for a long time, and there's something very real happening here. You know, if you're a young Puerto Rican with a vision and an idea, it's still early. You know, you don't have an abundance of resources, but there are resources here. If you have a startup, you can get funded. You can raise $1 million here. And this is just the beginning. And I would have faith that, you know, that follow-on capital, which doesn't yet exist here today, but I think it will be here by the time, if you're so lucky, your project has that traction because of the types of people that are showing up here. When you walk around the halls of, you know, Silicon Valley venture capital firms right now, you know, Puerto Rico is something that's regularly brought up.
Right.
Puerto Rico is officially
awesome.
on the map. It is a relevant place in the world of technology. It is a relevant place in the world of startups. It's a very relevant place in the world of blockchain. You know, if you went around the world polling people and said, what are the 10 most important places on the planet for blockchain? Many people might say Puerto Rico is on that list. So it's real. It's happening. There's amazing things here. And if you're, you know, and the most important thing is there's only going to be a small number of us expats that, you know, come down here. We're never going to affect, you know, we're not going to ever be a meaningful number of people. You know, what Puerto Rico ultimately needs to be successful, the dream, you know, that I have the thing that can really make Puerto Rico a very different place is if about 250,000 of the most talented Puerto Ricans in the world living in New York and Silicon Valley and elsewhere, recognize that there's now opportunity here. The reasons that caused them to leave, a lack of opportunity, something's changed, or at least it's starting to change. And if that talent, if the Puerto Ricans that had that talent that left out into the world and brought those skill sets, brought those relationships, brought that knowledge back, you're going to see Puerto Rico have a 180-degree turn. Most of its problems, given a sufficient amount of time, are likely to go away. So that's what I'm doing here. Sorry for the very long-winded answer.
So, Pamela, do you have a question for Brock?
So tell me about the local art scene. What's your favorite gallery? Where do you like to go? Who's your favorite artist?
Questions.
Well, a bunch of things. So I spend most of my time in Viejo San Juan, or Old San Juan, the old city. It's absolutely beautiful, but it's not practical for most people. Traffic in and out is complicated. It's very small. Roads are all old cobblestone.
Right.
But if you like like Venice Beach, or you like New York, if you like to be able to walk places,
Yeah.
and you want that sort of lifestyle, it's super interesting. So for me, I spent a lot of time on the first road, Calle de Cristo, or the Road of Christ.
There's that road today?
Yeah, we did. That was as we walked from the monastery up to the old churches, past the convent, to the Archbishop's Palace, and then eventually to San Sebastian's. Oh, and when we walked through San Juan Gate, or St. John the Baptist Gate, that first gate, that took us up to that took us to Calle Cristo.
Okay, got it.
There's a gallery right there. We were on a timetable that I didn't walk you in there, but I spent a lot of time there because of proximity. But really, the cultural kind of art place that I spend most of my time is also right here, which is called the Poet's Passage. And there's a wonderful woman, lady, who runs this, and she kind of holds court. It is the cultural epicenter of Old San Juan, where you go and you read poetry, you play music, something that I look forward to taking you to as soon as I get a chance to take you on an evening tour on the appropriate night. Well, I'll take you through the cultural tour. And also,
or we can do it tonight.
Well,
Before I leave at 2 a.m.
Well, ideally, yeah. And an amazing group of us went and created an incredible mural from artists all over the planet. It's it's the biggest mural, the most beautiful mural, certainly the newest mural down in La Perla.
And that's where JLD, John, who has Entrepreneur on Fire, that's where he's at, La Perla?
La Perla is where, if you've seen the music video Despacito.
Oh, no, that's here.
That's here.
Yeah, that's
that's the bar. I was there last night.
La Perla
that place is unbelievable.
Yeah, La Perla is down, it's outside the city walls.
Right, when you say down there, I thought you meant like down the southeast where all the lots of the Acts 2022 people have.
Well, most of that community's out generally in like Dorado.
Okay.
They're out where like the Ritz-Carlton is. Really nice, high quality living. You have all of the amenities, and understandably so.
Right.
Living, in, the old town is, you're deep in the culture.
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of like, if you're really into the art world and you want to really connect with the culture of a place, you got to be like in the city. Dorado is if you want to experience the beauty of Puerto Rico and its beaches, which I don't get to see nearly enough of. But it is absolutely stunning. And one of the other things you want to do down here, which most people probably are not aware of, is Puerto Rico has 3 bioluminescent bays.
Oh, I
think there's only 7 or 8 official in the world.
That's amazing.
So almost half of the world's official bioluminescent bays are on this island.
It's amazing. I went about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a great time. Very cool.
I mean, they call this island. They call it the Enchanted Island for a reason.
Yeah.
Now,
It's magic.
You gave Pam one of these pins. I have one here, and she has one on her dress. Can you tell us about these pins and kind of the geographic location of Puerto Rico, and because you give these pins to all your visitors. So these people are kind of digitally visiting. Welcome to Puerto Rico. You're welcome for inviting you in to a little slice of what's happening here.
A little slice of heaven.
Heaven
on earth.
I figure, why wait? Let's create heaven on earth right here.
It's just
right
a slice
now.
of that right
just
there.
A little slice of heaven on earth.
I'm a big believer in gifting. I don't value anything I can buy. If I can buy something, it has very little value to me, and if I bought it, unless it has some really special purpose, it's intended to be given away. I only value things that have been given to me. So I'm a big believer in this concept of gifting culture. You know, stewardship. I can't take it with me.
Right.
So I don't really believe I own anything. I believe that something is just temporarily in my possession to be a steward of it until it ends up in the hands of the next person
Right.
who it might serve. And so, you know, as part of that, gifting is a, you know, core to my, call it DNA. And so I make little gifts. I make special things to give to people that have purpose. It's not obviously an expensive trinket. It's just a pin, but it's symbols that, you know, I identified someone else designed it. And I said, oh, that's perfect. I think that's a great way to symbolize, you know, Puerto Rico, because we are at the southernmost point of the Bermuda Triangle. Obviously, it's Bermuda, Miami, Old San Juan are the 3 points of the triangle. And so I like that pyramid with the, it's a golden pyramid with the island of Puerto Rico within it. And so design that into a pin. It's like a badge of sorts. It's like, hey, you made it to Puerto Rico. Actually, you'll see some people wear like 9 different pins that I've given them, and they have it like on always. I've created this like almost like culture of, you know, collecting what's the next pin that Brock's going to make.
Pinchroll. They call it pinchroll.
Yeah. Okay, culture.
Pins are big in New York. Everyone wears pins.
Well, it's a cool thing. And well, now all of a sudden, so I started making them for all of the startups and things that we were affiliated with. And now everybody is like, every startup, Brock, seems to be making pins. Did you have something to do this? I'm like, I don't know. You know, ideas are open to everybody. I certainly did my part of making lots of pins, but every company I know is like doing this. It's like, hey, well, think about in the future. I think in the future, the world, as we move from centralized systems to decentralized systems, if you understand what that is, not necessary for everyone that's listening to fully understand or appreciate that, because I'm going to just take you from A to Z. But in the future, the distant future, as we go through all of these transitions and we have these sort of decentralized systems, I believe that essentially we are going to be members of tribes. And you say, oh, I'm part of the Apple tribe because I like Apple's products, or I'm part of the, you know, Ethereum or EOS tribe because I like what they do, or I'm a part of, you know, the San Juan tribe because I like living there. And that we eventually start to identify ourselves with, you know, those things that we support. And I believe that, you know, the world is moving to something more tribal. And, you know, these are the communities, you know, because these are distributed, decentralized systems. They're essentially communities. These are the communities that I belong to.
Right.
These are the communities that I support.
That's how you make the most impact, by being in your tribe, in your community.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think that that's how systems are going to emerge over time.
Yeah.
And so this is just kind of playing with these notions and, you know, creating, you know, badges or, you know, little ways that you identify, you know, with each other. And those things are really useful if ever you come to any event or something I'm hosting. Most people will be like, oh, it basically means you get in. Everybody will be like, oh clearly.
Never taking it off.
I'll wear the consensus too, and I'll try to find it.
Well, it's like a member's card.
Yeah.
It just instead of like carrying a card, it's a pin.
That's fun. Pam and I met at Jody Rich's event that we did at Times Square, which you helped promote. Thank you for letting us do a quick video with you to promote that NFT NYC. You know, we had 85 speakers there, 450 registered attendees. It's pretty cool. And so, do you have questions for Brock on distributed ledger technology, blockchain, NFT stuff? He's kind of the godfather of NFT, at least from some perspectives.
What should my friends, you know, people who are not too familiar with crypto, what should they know right now? Like a takeaway for them, to something they can understand and to help them just learn a little more, like, about what's happening.
Yeah. So I don't ever encourage anyone to invest in anything other than themselves.
Right.
Right. Empower yourself with knowledge and information and experience, and then from there, you're able to make, you know, informed decisions for yourself. And so, what I encourage people to do, if you're not yet into this, and this is not an NFT question, is embark on the journey of learning. And the kind of 101 guide that I give for people that aren't familiar with crypto yet, but you're curious enough to say there might be something here and I'm willing to invest a little bit of my time so that I might be empowered in the future if this potential reality, you know, begins to matter to more people. There's hundreds and hundreds or thousands of cryptocurrencies. Let's focus just on the top 10. So you can go to places like CoinMarketCap, or there's a lot of sites that'll list out all the different cryptocurrencies. Take a look at the top 10 and pick 5 and invest $10 into each of those, or $20 into each of those. So, you know, try to save up $50 or $100, and if you don't have that, it can be $10 or $20, and it can even be play money. You don't have to use even real money. There is some benefits to using real money, which I'll get into. but go through the exercise of deciding, pick 5 out of the top 10 that you want to support. The exercise of choosing which 5, that process alone is going to make you smarter than most people I meet in crypto.
That's a great point.
Because it's a very simple exercise. It doesn't require much in the way of money. But what it's doing is it's making you choose, why do I like this over that? You know, what you're going down is a research rabbit hole of each and every one of those top 10 projects to decide why you think that might be a winner over something else. You know, why do you like that or not like that based upon what research you've done? And you're playing with an arm with a small enough money that you hopefully can't get hurt too poorly. The other benefits is you're going to learn how to open up a wallet. You're going to learn how to store crypto. And of those top 10 coins, they're not all going to be available on Coinbase. So you might have to also go learn to find another exchange and how to transfer coin to another exchange to get that crypto, because it's not about the money. It's not about the money.
Like a place like KuCoin?
Potentially KuCoin. There's a bunch of, there's a bunch of different places out there. I don't want to overly promote a specific thing because this is an open source world with lots of options, and not all of them are good. Buyer beware.
But Coinbase is
which
the
is
one
why I encourage, empower yourself. It's about education. Don't let FOMO get to you. That you have plenty of time. This is not a race. This is a marathon. It's about investing in yourself. It's about learning, and play with very, very small money, because the odds are you're most likely going to lose that first $100. Because you're going to lose your wallet. You're going to forget how to get access to it. You might get hacked because you did something foolish. You might lose, whatever it is that you might do something wrong in the beginning. So play around with a small enough sum of money, or play money that is so inconsequential to you that it's not going to have a real impact on your life. All you're doing is you're investing in your future. You're not making a financial investment, and that's what I encourage people to do. Empower yourself so that you begin to prepare yourself for the potential reality that we're talking about here.
Yeah, I started on Coinbase, so I found it easy just to get familiar with it, and that's how I think maybe.
If you're in the United States, Coinbase is the best place to get started.
Yeah,
it's not decentralized. It's centralized in a number of ways, which provides you with protections. If you lose your password, you have password recovery.
Right.
There are some things, which is why I encourage newbies to start there.
Yeah.
But, as you grow, most people eventually leave Coinbase to other things. But that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
It's a very good place to start, because you have you can make mistakes and not lose your shirt.
You feel a little safer there.
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like the kiddie pool, right?
Any final questions, Pamela, for Brock before we let him go? And obviously, Brock, it'd be good for you to let people know how they might be able to get a hold of you. Your website's unicorn.vc.
Oh, no, that's my family office with Crystal. We just had a baby.
Okay.
But
congratulations.
You can go to my website, which is brockpierce, one word, .io. You can also find me at Twitter at Brock Pierce. I'm on Instagram. I need to be doing more of that, but it's Brock J, my middle initial, Pierce. Where else might you want to find me? I'm on Telegram, but good luck reaching me there. You're better off on Twitter and other places, but it's just at Brock Pierce as well. It's Brock Pierce mostly everywhere.
Except for Instagram.
I was going not another social thing at the moment.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there's always going to be another social thing.
There's always going to be
until we eventually end up with something good enough that's decentralized, that maybe it sticks long term, where we own our data. Not to mean that other people can't advertise, but
I have a solution I want to tell you all about.
That's the big thing that's going to happen as we go through this big social change.
That's right.
Is we're moving into a world of consent. Advertisers can reach you. People can access your data. They can do all these things, but only with your consent. With your consent. With your consent.
Okay. Whoever is on my team that's watching this, please go to Namecheck right now. Try every single thing for consent. That is the new name for the new social network that we're building. Okay? Consent. Consent.co, consent.io. Find it. It's available everywhere. Get it. If you're not on my team, don't do that. It's my expansion of Brock's idea. Okay.
Well, it's our idea, right? We're all one, ultimately.
Just being silly.
We all consented.
But yes, I consent.
I consent.
But that's the big change.
Oh, I love that word, consent. That's the best. All right, wait, here comes. We're done, so here it comes. The Google disc. It's coming at you. That means the interview's over.
Done. Over.